Just south of the border in England was Edward Derrick, and he was born in 1540, long time ago. And he was a Puritan. He pushed for reforms and preached for revival in the English church, and he was constantly imprisoned and fined and mistreated because of it. And eventually he was he had his license. It sounds weird for us to talk about it. Preachers back then had to have a monarch sign, a crown signed license to be able to preach in churches, because the monarchy owned all the churches. They were the established church. So the Covenanters and the Puritans went and preached out in the fields. They just took God's churches, the fields and the plains. But this guy, he was taken away from him his license to preach in government buildings, and so he kept on writing, he kept on visiting, he kept on doing his underground work, but eventually, at just the age of 36, he was struck with tuberculosis. He was coughing blood, his lungs were filled with fluid, and on his deathbed, this story doesn't end better than Paul's. He doesn't come back to life. He never gets up out of his bed. This young man, Edward, sitting there lying and dying, he hears, right, our sufferings are good for other people's suffering. He hears while he's breathing the gurgling of blood every expiration. He hears that a dear friend of his, a young Christian sister, has also contracted this disease and she's on her bed. And he writes a letter to her. With almost no strength left, he pens his own letter. He says, afflictions, disease, and sickness and grief. These are nothing but part of a portion that God has allotted to us in this life. To those who love God, all these things are for the best. He wrote, one day God will make these mortal bodies like the glorious body of his dear beloved Son. This we know, and in this we are comforted. Christian suffering is for the sake of other Christians to receive comfort from the Lord through you.